So tonight we're going to look at face recognition, and I'm going to show you some tips to really speed up Face ID. It is quite a RAM intensive process, Face ID, and it can take quite a bit of your computer processing time and so on. So I'm going to show you how you can switch it off or pause it. I'm going to show you how you can the settings that you need to use, but also how to use the cloud so your computer doesn't need to be turned on to Face ID. And it was a little trick that I stumbled upon one day. I went, oh my God, it's done all this for me. Then, I don't know if you know, keywording is not supported from Lightroom to Classic. Okay, so if you keyword anything in Lightroom, it's not transferred back to Classic because Lightroom does not support hierarchical keyword structures. So keywording is not a synchronized workflow. However, there's lots of little tricks and ways to get your keywords across. So face recognition is basically keywording by face, okay? Where the AI in the cloud is content recognition by color, by shapes, by light, by texture, by lots of different parameters. The AI will find that information for you, but it's also great at finding people. So I'm going to show you some settings and show you some things that I do in Classic. And for ease, I've already imported some images and I've already synced some images because I didn't want to be sitting here for 25 minutes waiting for it to sync. So I'll explain the things that I've done for this time purposes. So the first thing we need to do is tell Classic to look at faces. So if we come to Lightroom Classic, I think it's file under a PC. Apologies if I'm wrong there. I haven't used a PC with Lightroom for such a long time, but I'm sure it's under file and you want catalog settings. We click on catalog settings and we come to the metadata and we need to turn on automatic face detection in all photographs. And it's going to look for the structure of a face. So that's the first thing we need to turn on. Now, as I said, for ease, I've imported 36 images of my photography events. And I've put them in a collection. So it's nice and easy to find them. And down the bottom in the library grid view, there is a face recognition button. The first time you hit that, it'll come up with a pop-up menu. And it'll ask you, do you want to scan your images for faces? Now, the way to stop that, once you've started that process, is if you come up to your identity plate at the top left-hand corner, it's got face detection, and you can pause the face detection. And when you first start, if you've got 20,000 images and 16,000 of them have got people in them, it will say 16,000 images currently scanning for photographs, for faces. And your machine will slow down. So when you're doing things like editing and so on, you might want to pause this and then leave it, and then click on it and leave it running. Because this catalog's been running for a few days, it's already done the face recognition. It's found faces. So these are the faces that the computer has found, okay, or the software has found. Okay, it's just a selection of members of my photo club. And you can click on the image and it's looking for a particular face or a person in there. So this is me. Now let's see if there's any of me, more of me. Another one of me down here. Okay, another one of me there. And what you can do is you can type in the person's name. Now, this is a keyword. and this is the important bit, if you are using a keyword as the actual keyword is lowercase, you need to type it in as a lowercase. So if you're using a hierarchical structure and the titles of the groups are capitalized, you do not want to capitalize this because this is your key word. So I'm just going to type my name in there, okay, and press return. That is now added me as a named person. Now, if I come to the keywords, you can see on the keyword list, it's now created a keyword. If I double click on it, it will say it's a person, which is important. Okay, in the hierarchy, in the keyword tag options, it's an important bit. You're identifying as a person. But now you might want to, if you're using hierarchical, you may want to create a group. So as regular attendees will know, I create groups of keywords together and I capitalize the first letter. So faces. Now you could capitalize the whole word. So it's more prominent. It's a title of a group. But now we need to untick everything. So it's faces. Okay, so I've now got a title called faces in my hierarchical keyword list. On top of that, I'm going to add another title and I'm going to call it photography friends. Again, I'm going to untick everything and I've capitalized the first letter because that's my workflow to show me that it's a title to a list. So I've now got photography friends. I'm going to put that in faces. And then I'm going to put my keyword into that list. So there we go. So this is telling me that my list in my hierarchical keyword structure is faces. So all my faces are together as keywords. And then I've created a group of photography friends. Okay. And then I've got one in there of me. So here is the image of me again, and it's got a little number 2 by the side of it. That's telling me it's found another image of me. And as we add images, they will stack the images. Now I could type in my name, or as I've already got a identified image, I can just click, hold, drag, drop. And it's going to reorder. I'm going to go OK. And it's going to put those images on there. So I've now, if we look at the keyword list, I've got 3 images. And now it's starting to identify images. Are these me? Well, this is me. And this one's not me. So I'm going to click on the no entry sign. If you want to say this is Basil, photography friend of mine. It's not me. This is Lizzie's boyfriend, Darren. So I'm going to click on that, but this one's me. And what I could do is hold the command key down and just manually go through them and try and scan through and find photographs of me. Just quickly scan through this one of me. And these are faces within images. So if I undo that one for a moment, drag this to here, and now I've got 5 images of me. It's identifying me. But if I go to the image, here we go here, and double click on the image, you can see all the tags of all the people. And I could type them in and name them here. Okay, and do it this way. Okay, go back to Face ID, or I can do them by clicking on me here. And let's find some more of me. There's another one of me. Another one of me, another one of me, another one of me, another one of me, another one of me. And I could type my name in there. And it's applying, and it automatically comes up. Go to the end, press return. And the ones that were highlighted have all got my name on it. So I've now got 12 images of me that are keyworded with my name on the Face ID. So this is Joe. It's Joe. This is Malcolm. This is Marco. This is Liz. This is Joe. That's Alan. That's Simon, I think that is. That's Petra. That's Lizzie. I think his name is Basil. So you can see it's quite easy. And I'm putting just these names in there. But you can see now I've added these keywords. But I need to move them into the right list. So I'm just clicking on them, dragging them and putting on the list. And it will soon start looking at the images to see, are they the right people? Okay. And it will scan through them all. See, this has now come up. This is Joe. Yes, it is. I'll just click on the tick. This is Karen. Mara. I think it's spelled like that. That's Marilyn. That's Simon. That's Angela. That's Katrina. That's Simon again, but that's a different Simon. Okay, that's Simon K, that is. Okay, there's Joe. That's Ian. Now that's Karen. And again, I'm just putting the keywords on them. But I could, there's Basil. There's Basil again. Don't think I've got any more of Basil. So I'll just drag Basil and drop him into there. Here's Joe. Joe. Joe used to come a lot out with me. Joe again. Joe again.
Does it become more intelligent?
It does.
It
does. It starts to learn. You'll see it's got question marks. The question marks will start to, the more I give it, the more the artificial intelligence learns. So the first time you do this, you might have to put them in 10, 15 times to each one. And that's why I'm saying I'm just going to click on the person's name, because you're getting different characteristics with each image. And some of these are older images and it learns. So they're all Katrina, I think. So I'm just going to move those into Katrina. There's another couple of Katrina there, and it will start to learn. But it'll also sync this information from Classic. Okay, so how can I use this information? So let's just select these keywords and select that one. I've dragged them into the list. Because it's now information, I can use this to identify or find images very quickly, either in smart collections or within my filter bar. So if I go to menu, keywords, Angela, there's my images. I can, if I've got lots of images, so let's go to Joe. Okay, so let's show all keywords. And let's go to Joe. So there's the images of Joe. I can change my date parameters. So if I was looking for a Joe in a particular day or whatever, there we go, May. But I could also look for a picture of two people. So keyword. So I'm now looking for a picture of, let's find it, people, Joe, then go to photography friends and a picture with me in it. And there is the only picture that's in this catalogue that has got Joe and myself in. So it's a really powerful piece of technology that once you've started Face IDing, you can say, I'm looking for a picture of me and my wife on this cruise. Me and my wife in a particular location. So you could use city. So Minehead. So this has got the keyword or the geotagging location of Minehead. So it's really, really powerful. You don't know where the photograph is. You've misfiled it. It will then show you what the result you're looking for. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Will that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
It's really, really powerful. But face recognition, all it's doing, it's finding the face, and then you've got to tag the face with the keyword. So it's a glorified keyword. You're identifying a face with the keyword. And the more faces you give it of that person, the more it will identify and automate it. So it will say, oh, this is Joe, this is Joe, this is Joe, and this is Joe. And you either can tick the tick box or command or control click and then drag them onto that person. And then it's very, very quick to find them. Okay. Now you may have a picture that you want to remove Face ID, and that's easy to do. So if I go onto this picture, see, look, it's named the people in here. See, it's got Alan, it's got all of us in this picture. Okay. But if I go into it, I can remove the ID of people or the zone or whatever I wish to do. So let's turn my filters off. So let's go back to G. Let's turn those off. Now let's go to Face ID. Okay, and I can remove. So this person here, I've got no idea who this person is. I can go right click, remove face region. And that's just literally the delete key, or I can press the X. So I've got no idea who that person is. It's an engineer on the West Somerset Railway. Okay, got no idea who that is. Okay, it's now scanning the rest of my catalogue because these aren't in my collection. Okay, so I just press delete and it removes it from the Face ID recognition side of it. Okay? Yeah? So that's face recognition in Classic. Going to show you a little tip. If you create, we all know how to create collections, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? And we put the images into a collection without keywords on them. Okay? So you import, add those images to a collection and sync to the cloud. Yeah, we all know how to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on the drop down, apply during import, I think it is, tick the box, add to a collection, sync that collection to the cloud. Okay, then that collection will come into Lightroom. And this is the collection. But you can go to people. Okay, and it's recognized the people. Well, what you can do is there is the images of that person. Okay, they're there. 17 images. What you can do is now name the person in that it's recognized. So that's now Joe. I click here, Mark. Okay, but you're doing it in the cloud. So if you take an image on your phone, being in the cloud. Now, I haven't done Sue. I deliberately haven't done Sue. Okay. And this is Karen. Okay. So I've now identified them in the cloud. So as more and more pictures come in, they will be processed in the cloud without my computer being on, saving my electricity. Okay. So the computers recognize all these pictures. See, it didn't show you this picture. It's got Joe and Sue in it. Okay. Go out the grid. I can create a album. Okay, of these images. All right. So we're going to create an album, go plus, create an album, and I'm going to call it Joe, including the 17 images. This will sync back to Lightroom Classic. I've identified these images have got Joe in them. Okay? And you can then cross-reference them with Classic. So this will now sync and it'll come back to Classic. So if I go to my collections, and I'll get in here in a minute a collection set called From Lightroom when it starts syncing back. But those I know have all got Joe in them. So I've used the artificial intelligence in the cloud to create an album, which will sync back to Classic as a collection. There it is, it's coming now. And I've all got Joe in them. The Face ID is Joe. So I know they're all Joe. The AI has scanned and then I've told it it's Joe. So now it's come back into classic. They're all Joe. So I've allowed the AI to do it for me, rather than what I just showed you, which is the manual way of doing it. Taking the person, typing in the name, dragging it across. I'm allowing the AI, and these days, more importantly, I know it's come down in cost, electricity and wear and tear on your hard drive. I've sent them all to the cloud. I've allowed the cloud to sort them all out. And then I've just identified the person, clicked on that keyword, added it to a collection or an album, synced it back to Lightroom. I've now keyworded all those images. So if I just show you, here we go. From Lightroom, there it is. These have all got Joe in them. Face ID, and it'll show you it's got Joe in them. Yeah. Okay. Nice and simple. So we can use, you just try and tweak that workflow. You can use the AI in the cloud to do the keywording of Face ID for you. Okay. Create an album that will come back in your collections panel. It will say from Lightroom. So that collection set from Lightroom is any album that you've created in Lightroom on your phone, on your tablet, or on a browser, or on the desktop interface. When it syncs back to Classic, it comes into a collection set called From Lightroom. So I'm using the AI to find the face. I'm tagging the face. Because keywords don't come back from Lightroom, I'm using the album name to tell me who it is. And then I'm keywording them. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that's face recognition. Really, really powerful if you photograph people. Because it's a great way of finding people that you've lost, you've misfiled, or, oh, you remember we went, such and such an anniversary coming up or something, or was it such a long time ago we went to Paris and so on, and you can't remember when it was, but you went with that person and it was Paris. And you can't remember how you filed it and so on. So if it was taken with a phone, it would have GPS data, so it would know it was Paris, and you went with Sue or whoever it was you went with. So you keyword for Sue, you keyword for location Paris, and it will come back with all your images of Sue and Paris. So it's another way of finding your images that you can't find. Either you've misfiled or miskeyword or whatever. It's using the Face ID along with the GPS data in that case. Or it could be something else, like I used this camera or this lens or whatever it was. Or you went on a cruise, you couldn't remember what boat you went on or where you went, but you knew you went with those people. You could, as I showed you, have two keywords or two faces, and they'll all come back.
Mark,
Okay.
if
Yes, sir.
if you knew you put that group, those people into photography friends. If one of those people was someone you knew in another social environment, and say a bingo club, and you have photographs of the bingo club or whatever,
Yeah.
would you create another person another name for that person?
No, one keyword. You would have to decide where you filed it. So treat it like you get a letter from the bank. Remember those days you got a letter from the bank? Do you file it under mortgage or do you file it under Barclays? Yeah. So you've got one letter. So I used to have Minehead Beach, Minehead Avenue, and I was having Minehead millions and millions of times. So now. And I was having beach million. I'd have Dunster Beach and Kilve Beach, and no. I've got Minehead, and then as a separate word, it's beach. So under coastline, my coastline group. So I've got cliffs, high tide, low tide, sandy, rocky. They're all types of beach. They're all types of coastline, and one of those words is a beach. So I would have Minehead and Beach in 2 different lists.
Right.
And what I do is I use the filter bar in the keyword list. I just type the word beach. I've got it in there once. I haven't got Minehead Beach. I haven't got Dunster Beach. I haven't got Porlock Beach. I haven't got Ilfracombe Beach. I've just got beach. And then I've got the towns, because I would have Minehead 35 times. That's my structure of keywords. It's not necessarily right for everybody, but I have one Minehead and so on. So you'd need to work out, Peter X, is he your primary photography friend, or is he primary your bingo friend? And to be honest, it doesn't matter where you file it.
No.
All it matters is that picture is tagged with Peter X on it. Yeah. So that the reason why I do hierarchical is when I originally started with keywords years and years and years ago, I had a massive big long list. 250, 300 keywords, and I was scrolling up and down, up and down, up and down to find a keyword. Then I learned hierarchical. But then I was getting more in depth into keywords and having smaller but still long lists. So I then made sub-lists within lists. So faces, that's my top list, hierarchical. And then I've got family friends, photography friends, work colleagues, academic colleagues, and I put the people in those categories. All that's to do is so I don't have a massive great big long list. I haven't got 250 friends, but I haven't got a long list of 250 friends. I've got smaller lists of 10 or 15 people.
Yeah.
So they're grouped together, and you sit there and go, who the bloody hell's that? I haven't seen them for 25 years. Who is it? Oh, it's such and such. It's such and such from the University of Warwick or whatever it is and so on. And it's in a smaller list. But on my day-to-day workflow, for any keyword, I use the filter bar at the top of the keyword list, and I just type beach and I'll drag it onto, wherever it is. So I've got the right keyword on the right image. So, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just what I do. Okay. Any questions about that?
If you are taking from Lightroom your album back to Classic, does that count towards your storage? Should do.
It will do if it's a photograph that you have uploaded from Lightroom. This was a collection that I sent from Classic. So they're smart previews. And then I'm sending smart previews back, so they're not counted towards my storage.
Gotcha.
It's only if you've taken a photograph with a camera or any device and you've imported it, because you've imported the file, which can be 50, 60 megabytes. That's when it counts towards the storage. When the primary or the original source is Classic and goes from Classic to Lightroom, it's not included in your quota. So you can, I don't recommend it, but you can. I did do it, and after 3 weeks, I stopped doing it. You can put all your images in the cloud because they're smart previews. So don't sit there and go, in my case, 480,000 images, select all, send to the cloud. Put them in little collections and sync the collection. So, an hour later, they're all synced. But you've got all smart previews in the cloud, but they don't count towards your storage.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about that?
No, thank you.
No? Okay. So for those that are in our Lightroom community, I'll see you on Monday. This recording will be up on YouTube on Friday.
Good.
Thank you.
Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, Stuart.
See you then.
Cheers. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.